It's been 2 weeks since I've gotten my hands on the new M4 MacBook Air, and I wanted to see if it can actually replace my M1 MacBook Pro. The results? Well, turns out it's not a simple answer yet. Hi everyone, if you're new to my channel, my name is Paula, and a couple of videos ago, we unboxed the M4 MacBook Air, and honestly, I haven't been able to put it down ever since. So today, we're going to be doing a deep comparison of the M4 MacBook Air against the M1 MacBook Pro, and see if there is an actual clear winner. For starters, here's my use case. The primary purpose of my laptop is to edit videos, research and write scripts, and manage my social media posts. I've solely used the M4 for the last 2 weeks, and I've also successfully edited and published the last couple of videos on there, and I've really enjoyed using it. But there are still certain aspects that I miss of my M1 that the M4 doesn't have. However, there are also things that the M4 MacBook Air does that my M1 MacBook Pro doesn't. I have the 16-inch M1 MacBook Pro, which weighs about 4.7 pounds. While the large screen makes work easier, the weight and size makes it less portable. In contrast, the 13-inch M4 MacBook Air weighs just 2.7 pounds, a whole 2 pounds lighter, making it much easier to carry around. The downside? A smaller screen. While docking it to a larger monitor is an option, it does take away the portability. The M1 has a mini LED display, and it also gets 1000 nits of brightness, while the M4 can only go up to 500 nits and has an IPS panel. Another point for the Pro is having ProMotion technology for adaptive refresh rates up to 120 Hz, while the M4 MacBook Air only has 60 Hz. Honestly, that might not be a super big deal for everybody. If you've never used a Pro display, chances are you won't notice a difference, but once you do, it's hard to go back. The M1 MacBook Pro has a high-fidelity 6-speaker system, delivering fuller sound. The MacBook Air has a 4-speaker setup, and while the sound quality is decent, it is noticeably weaker than the Pro. That said, I usually edit with AirPods, so it's not necessarily a deal breaker, but if the speaker quality does matter to you, there is a sound difference between the two MacBooks. Next is speed. I've been editing on the M4 and I can still use Final Cut Pro with no problem and no slowdowns when scrubbing timelines. but what I really want to know is its export speed. So a few ground rules for our speed test for both the M4 Air and the M1 Pro. Decided to export a project from Final Cut Pro that was originally cut and edited. Everything is from the M4 Air. So I exported that entire project from the M4 Air to the M1 Pro. And so they should have all the same file sizes and everything from both projects. And then we exported everything at the same time. However, during the first export, I actually started the export at the same time for both laptops, but the M1 Pro failed because of an encoding issue. At this point, I'm not going to fault the M1 for the encoding issue just because it wasn't natively edited on the M1 Pro, so that might have something to do with why it didn't export properly the first time. Nonetheless, the file exported smoothly for both eventually, maybe not at the same time. The file that we're exporting is only a 5 gig video. So the export on the M4 started at 11:02 a.m. and ended at 11:16, so giving us a 14-minute export time. And then for the M1, same file, it started at 11:14 a.m. and ended at 11:30, so giving us a total of 16-minute export time on the M1. So with that said, the M1 took a whole 2 minutes longer to export than the M4. Now, whether that's a sign of the M1 showing its age or if it's not really a big deal yet, even with that, as you can see, something that is 3 generations ago from the M4 is still not lagging too far behind. But with that speed test there, those are the numbers that we came up with on a small file like a 5 gig video. Both laptops are crazy fast, but the M1 Pro has an active cooling system, so it won't throttle as easily under heavy load. The M4 Air is fanless, so under sustained workloads, you might see slower performance. One of the new features that the M4 MacBook Air has is the support for native dual monitor display setup. Ever since I've had the M1, this has been somewhat of a pain point for me since I like to use multiple screens to do my work, and it doesn't always work on the M1. But the M4 MacBook Air does this seamlessly, and it's been really nice to just be able to plug it in and start working right away. As far as ports, the M4 MacBook Air only has 2 Thunderbolt ports on the left, while the M1 MacBook Pro has 3 Thunderbolt ports, an HDMI port, and a memory card reader. The extra ports on the M1 Pro are a huge advantage, no need for dongles, and you don't lose a Thunderbolt port when connecting accessories. With all things considered, there's definitely pros and cons for both the M4 Air and the M1 MacBook Pro. They're at this point kind of very different machines, but both are very, very capable of doing basic tasks. So it really just depends on your specific workload, your specific use case, and of course your preferences as well. I've mentioned to you guys why there are reasons that I would prefer a more portable, lighter, smaller display such as a MacBook Air, yet I could also benefit from the power and the screen real estate of a bigger display such as my 16-inch MacBook Pro. For me, the best option would probably be upgrading to the M4 MacBook Pro because that'll give me the best of both worlds, and it'll also be able to handle the workload that I'm used to putting onto my laptops, and I feel like that will probably be something that could last longer than something like the MacBook Air. But that's just for my personal workload. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of the new MacBook Air. If you guys have tried the MacBook Pro, that's also in the M4 chip. That's also something that I'd like to hear your thoughts about. To be fair, the M1 has taken really great care of me. Ever since I got it, I never really had any issues with it. It's just naturally, I just prefer something a bit lighter now. And it's been a couple generations, so I also want to make sure that I'm making most use of it at its prime. Hopefully this information has been helpful for you. Either you are someone who is looking to upgrade your MacBook, or maybe you're picking up your very first one. I hope that this video helped in making your decision. If you guys like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up down below and subscribe for more tech and gear related videos on the channel. Lastly, if you are still here, I wanted to quickly celebrate that we have just recently hit 1,000 subscribers on the channel. So thank you everyone who has been out here to support us, and I hope to see you guys on our next videos as well. So as always, thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.